Welcome back to my art channel. The summer heat has been oppressive here in South Korea, but I wanted to share a whole bunch of small art projects that got me through the season. From themed outdoor sketches to making tiny art scenes, color experiments and art supplies I've been playing around with. If you're looking for inspiration for bite-sized art projects to tackle in your own free time, or just want to relax a bit with me, grab your pencils and paints and sketchbooks and let's start drawing. Most of my summer was just spent at my desk painting larger commission pieces, which I'm excited to show you in the future. So to balance all these hours of solitude, every once in a while I'd feel the itch to de-stress with small, simple art projects. Sketching outdoors is my go-to for that, so let's head to one of my favorite locations on Jeju-do for some magical forest scenes. This park here on Jeju, called the Stone Culture Park, Dolharubang, is perfect for an afternoon of nature sketches. Dolharubang is also ideal for low-effort sketching. There are lots of shaded areas, so I'm not in the relentless summer sun all the time. Lots of rocks, benches and stone walls to sit on or balance my materials and sketchbooks. And it's vast enough that even on busy days I can stay out of people's way. Parks in general are a great way for easy outdoor sketching, so I'm always excited when there are gardens, parks, temples and similar places to explore. Much easier than being truly in the wild. On this particular visit, I had actually participated in a ceremony celebrating Solmunde Halmang, or Grandmother Solmunde, from a creation myth of the island. I'd spent all morning rushing about, wearing robes and learning what to do during my part of the Jesa ritual, and I even had to read a quite long poem in Korean in front of the entire audience, so after all that anxiety, I loved disappearing into the shadowy undergrowth of the park even more. Still entranced by the myth, I wanted to sketch some of the sculptures here. They look like magical forest creatures, don't they? I'd sketched here before over the years whenever we visit, returning to the same place and focusing on the same theme for multiple sketches, even if they happened months apart, still makes a difference to me. Like I could slowly evolve how to paint this particular subject, stone and moss, and capturing the emotion these sculptures evoke. Over time I've tried a variety of art supplies, watercolors, gouache, adding in colored pencils for line work, but I think on this particular day I found a method that really works for me. I used very soft pencil lines, looking for texture and wobbly line art over precision to capture the overall shape, and then layered gouache paint very transparently. Since it's summer, the high humidity makes gouache a better choice than watercolors, as my watercolor paper doesn't let the paint spread and create patterns as I wanted to. But I still kept my gouache colors light and the color palette very muted overall. sure if you also feel that way sometimes, but when I sketch a subject once and then put it away, that can be a bit unfulfilling. I often return to similar subjects or want to create a series of themed pieces to dig deeper. Recently, I posted my Switzerland travel sketching video, and those sketches too feel like a series tied together both by the location that inspired them and the color palettes and materials I used. So, in a bit of an overnight frenzy after I'd finished another client illustration project, I decided to put my favorites from among these sketches into a little art scene. If you've never tried this, it's the perfect, again bite-sized project to dip your toes into serial art with. Maybe you want to make sure your art style is cohesive, or you are obsessed with a particular subject and have to get that out of your system, or there are new art supplies you want to familiarize yourself with. An art scene doesn't take forever to make, the illustrations don't have to be painted on large formats, and I think they make for adorable gifts as well. On top of all my sketches, I wanted to have color swatches and doodles showing my art supplies in this scene, as that's a theme to tie them all together. When I mentioned my overnight frenzy, this is what I meant, drawing all my tools and making paint swatches, then scanning them and tossing it all into Photoshop for edits and layouting. While I made a larger A3 version to see how the details of the sketches would show up there, personally, I love the charm of the A4 one folded into this miniature booklet. It's also my Patreon gift for August, so if you'd like to get one of these together with a letter, you can sign up there for the Cat Dragon tier. My shop itself is currently closing for US shipping, by the way, as I want to see how chaotic the tariff collection at customs goes at the beginning of September. And then we'll have to see what happens after that, as the Korean Post supposedly is about to raise its shipping cost to the US specifically. At this point, I'm really good at precisely folding paper. I should put that on my CV. The reason for that are my cat maps of Jeju Island, which I released for the Jeju Book Fair earlier this year and just ordered the third print run for. Similarly to this travel sketch scene, they are printed on A4 paper and then folded, though like maps instead of a booklet, and without any cutting involved. The recent reprint was for a night market I participated in. My first art market in months, because it's honestly just too hot to go anywhere at this point. Since this one was at night, it was manageable, though the stall setup around 5 nearly knocked us all out anyway, and we all stocked up on portable fans, ice packs and cold drinks. Another reason I'm not drawing outside or going to markets during the hottest time of summer here in Korea. The humidity completely obliterates my samples. While the prints for sale are tucked away safely in boxes, my map and book samples turned completely mushy and curled up like potato chips. I'll probably rejoin all the local art events in late September when it's less humid. On the second evening of that night market, I even had some time to sketch some of my surroundings and later saw dolphins on the horizon. So despite the overall event being quite stressful and tiring, it was a fun time and I do miss art markets here quite a lot. That's another reason I enjoyed the Stone Culture Park as a repeatable sketching location earlier in summer. Lots of shaded areas, cool stone benches to sit on, and it's open until later in the afternoon, so I got to make one more sketch that day. A wider view of larger statues in the park. I used a similar technique as before, but since we were under an open sky rather than in a dark forest, I used an Ultramarine Blue colored pencil instead of graphite to bring a vibrancy to the lines. This has been another favorite tool ever since. There's something classically beautiful about ultramarine as a color. Its deep blue goes wonderfully with both open skies and ocean scenes. But I even like it for interiors as well. I previously also attended several art events in the Stone Culture Park that I'd sketched at earlier. Art markets often themed around the park itself, but open to other prints as well. And I took the opportunity each time that I visited to draw at least one or two tiny sketches. I've compiled some of that painting footage here as I returned to the park multiple times, and while those art markets took up most of the time I had there, I always try to fit in at least one sketch per visit. There's one sketch in particular that I'm working on here, a Dolharubang, like a grandfatherly statue. You can find these all over Jeju. And I tried to capture the volcanic rock that these are made from with this more aggressive watercolor texture. I used a lot of the Daniel Smith granulating paints that I have, and still I didn't quite like how that turned out, as if I had relied too much on the granulation pattern, but also didn't leave it enough freedom to just do what it does. I don't know, a strange mixture of letting go of control but then also trying to wrangle it back. And I think especially when it comes to the looser qualities of watercolor, I still have a lot of practice to do. Maybe some experimenting on larger paper with larger brushes to let go of my perfectionism and my urge to constantly layer and not let a paint just be. But still, I always enjoy these small experiments, even if they don't turn out as I want them to, or as I had imagined. There's still always something to learn or take away from them. Despite what this video shows with all its outdoor footage, art markets and little travel sketches, I've really retreated into a cozy cocoon of painting at my desk all day. And I hope I can announce some of those projects soon and share my process for them as well. Though for some paintings I didn't even turn on the camera, just listened to audiobooks and music for endless hours of painting. But really, all of my travel sketching footage here is from May and June, because after that, summer turned from pleasant, if hot, to suffocating. On one of those pleasant summer days in late June, I visited Bodom Wat, a greenhouse / garden / cafe here on Jeju, to show my parents, who were visiting at the time, the hydrangea flowers here. Hydrangeas bloom all over Jeju in June and even early July, but Bodom Wat has an amazing variety of special types, a near endless wall of flowers to wander along, and a forest path full of dark blue and purple hydrangeas as well, which is where I quickly sketched a composition to later finish at home. This sketchbook is more of a journal. I love how the soft cover and thinner paper makes it a very light travel companion, and I've had the urge to go larger with my sketches for a while, often feeling a bit constrained in my small watercolor sketchbooks. It's also helped me let go of that perfectionism, and I can't wait to show you all I've been sketching and painting on that round trip of Jeju Island in a dedicated video soon. Travel sketching while showing my parents around the island often came with very limited time, but my mom took filming me here very seriously. Say hi to my amazing camera woman. For this hydrangea sketch, I had the perfect paints to try out. I got sent these as a gift, all the way from Germany, and I've been itching to paint with them. They are tiny samples of the Holbein Gouache sets, one for winter and one for spring. I've actually been eyeing those 4-season inspired gouache sets for the longest time, and I just could never decide which ones I wanted most. So it's like Winged Jedi read my mind by sending me these. Thank you again so much. Have you tried any of these season-themed gouache sets? I'm also eyeing the autumn one, already imagining how amazing those shades would look for paintings while hiking in the coming months, when the leaves start to turn red. I'm usually a bit skeptical when it comes to pastel color palettes, as I've tried my fair share of pastel shades in watercolor specifically that were chalky and that lost all their vibrancy when dry. But these gouache paints blew me away. I'd already started painting with my usual CMYK gouache palette, but these paints, especially the 2 greens, are so much more vibrant and apply in beautiful transparent layers as well. They're incredibly pigmented, and I had to mix both shades of green and the bright red to tone them down for the darker areas of these hydrangea flowers. And I'm also really intrigued by the choice to include a grey shade rather than a white. This sketch isn't quite finished, but I just wanted to say thank you and show my first steps here, as I was too excited to wait. The winter palette looks perfect for some sketches I'd made at a mountain temple, with dark rocks and trees, contrast against golden statues and colorful lanterns, so I can't wait to dive into those as well. I usually film at our dining table since my own desk is completely occupied with actual work paintings and I can't clean it up all the time. But I found now in summer, since the window is south-facing, it's just too hot and too bright there, so I actually haven't been filming here all that much. I'm kind of looking forward to fall when I can get back into that routine of painting at this table in the morning, sketching, warming up, documenting my process. And maybe posting some more dedicated art review videos, maybe including these gouache palettes in the future. I also really need to get larger flat brushes for gouache paint. I felt a bit ridiculous with my tiny brushes on this suddenly much larger sketchbook. Another sketching tool I've been reaching for on those rare days I actually wanted to go anywhere in this heat are a second box of Neocolor II. Do as I say, not as I do, and get some better balanced color selections. I bought the first set of this limited edition in all the bright oranges and pinks on my trip to Switzerland, and then the completionist within me had to get the matching set of blues, as it just looked so perfect for Jeju Island. Neocolor II aren't sold as open stock in South Korea, or at least I haven't found them yet, and I just thought this set of blues and turquoises and greens looked really pretty. Going with a larger, more basic yet balanced set from the very start would have probably been a much better choice. But still, I really like these colors as they are deep and intense, and they're really convenient for sketching on the go. I can just block in colors roughly and go over them with my water brush later, after escaping into the cool interior of a cafe or to my own home. It's also a great tool for forever unfinished or imperfect sketches, color experiments, and they seem to work on any kind of paper, as I can adjust the amount of water to blend them with, or just keep the lines at pure wax crayon. This Talens art creation sketchbook doesn't do well with watercolors or gouache in general, but it was able to take just a little bit of water to blend out these Neocolor II. So yeah, it's a really versatile medium that I definitely plan on using a lot more. In the meantime, I'm enjoying the quiet at home, just making my little zines, packaging prints and practicing drawing when I have free time. In a way, these bite-sized fun projects that I shared here, that I made in my free time, are what I enjoy filming most. The outdoor sketching on a day off, folding scenes during early mornings, or painting hydrangeas in a new color palette on a lazy weekend evening. How have you been spending summer? If you're in the same hemisphere, how are you battling the heat? I hope you enjoyed this art vlog of all these little snippets of more or less creative time from this summer, as I try to recharge and look ahead to the second part of the year, as time speeds ahead, even when summer feels endless.